There you are. I've been looking all over town for you. What? Hey, why are you backing away from me? Scared? Why? I promise I don't mean you any harm. How can I say that? Mortal enemies. Now, what gave you a thought like that? Hunter. Yeah, I'm a hunter. What about it? Yes, I know you're a vampire. What are you getting at? Kill you? I think you have the wrong idea. No, I think you do. Maybe I do kill vampires, but it's not as cut and dry as I go and kill every single vampire I see. You're newly turned, right? I've been hunting the bastard myself, but haven't found who turned you quite yet. Oh yes, I've known for about a week now. Wanted to give you time to adjust. Well, there's a lot I gotta tell you. And well, there's a lot I've left out. Go on, take a seat. Promise, not gonna stab you or hurt you. Just take a seat on the couch, alright? There's so much to explain to you. So, how much do you know of our little agreement between vampires and hunters? Ah, nothing. Well, I don't mind starting from scratch. You see, our great grandfather, he struck up an accord with the vampire lords, essentially putting in effect what's called a masquerade. Do you know what that is? Yes, it's a party, but I was more talking about the societal norm. Alright, then I'll inform you. The masquerade is in effect to where, as long as vampires abide by the rules set by both parties, hunters are also made to follow the law, but it's more important that vampires do, then a peace can be brokered. Some of these laws include not feeding on innocent humans, making sure to report to a vampire lord or a hunter associate leader within roughly a week, making sure that peace conferences are held regularly, and most importantly, human law is above vampire law. What that means is you can't do something to someone and then not expect to go to prison or be executed. Luckily for you, you haven't broken any laws or hurt anyone, and you've gone pretty far out of your way to avoid doing that. Rather unfortunately, it seems you ticked off the wrong crowd, which means you did break a rule. You accidentally let the public know about you. Now, we've been able to sweep this under the rug, just saying you were, coked up. Oh, don't react like that. It's either you were coked up or you're dead. So, you should be thanking me for covering that shitstorm. But regardless, back to what I was saying. The masquerade has been in effect for a couple hundred years now. I think like 400 years. Anyway, I am currently part of the Hunters Guild. A Vampire Hunters Guild, to be precise. Our job is to manage vampires who are going AWOL or out of control and to protect the masquerade. Essentially, our job is to make sure vampires don't get discovered, and we're supposed to keep their society safe. We're effectively like policemen, really, when you think about it. Except our job's to maintain incredibly powerful beings. We actually do have vampires within our ranks too, believe it or not. You know Gary, the guy you like so much? Guess what? He's a vampire. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought. Listen, I know this is a lot to take in, and as your brother, it's probably freaky knowing that, yeah, I kill vampires. I've killed quite a few, and I don't regret it. But doesn't mean I go killing them willy-nilly. I kill them when I need to, and I console when I need to. You broke a rule because you didn't know any better. You didn't know the rules or what was going on, and you were turned and drank from. An innocent, you know what that means? You're a victim. And as a victim, it means you can't be punished for that crime. However, since no one's taken charge of you, it has led to a problem. Well, here's the issue. If someone does sire a new blood, which you're not supposed to do in the first place, but if you do sire a new blood, which is what you are, their job is to take you under their reins and teach you what it means to be a vampire. Unfortunately, it seems you were abandoned. Probably in shame of what they've done. But regardless, what comes down now is choosing a house for you to serve under. Oh no, you can't live with me anymore, I'm afraid. No, it's not because I'm scared of you or anything. It's because you need to be taught. There's so many rules to our society, so many etiquettes you need to learn, and that's not even going down the wide rabbit hole that is vampire etiquette. Of course I'll visit you. You just will be going to a vampire college of sorts. Doesn't mean you can't visit and hang out, it just means you won't be living with me. Relax, room and board will be taken care of anyway. Well, the reason why you can't live with me is you're a new blood, meaning you have temptations of the flesh. You might be swayed to drink, and well, human blood is highly addictive. Even more so fresh human blood. So, you'll be trained to manage your instincts and be trained to ignore them, as every vampire is. What will you drink? You'll drink from the blood bank, of course, like every vampire does. The masquerade must remain in effect to keep peace and chaos from breaking out. Why is it in place? Well, 400 years ago, when our great, you get the point, great-grandfather brokered the peace, it was because the Black Death was spreading. And because vampires also fed on rats, it made it worse. And the epidemic spread way too far, way too fast. Eventually, almost a third of Europe's population had been wiped out from it. So peace was brokered between humans and vampires. In exchange for vampires going our way with it, they would be provided free blood without having to hunt anymore. And we'd get our wish, them hiding their existence and keeping the public ignorant. Doesn't mean you still don't have the odd vampire who goes it his own way, but, well, we take care of those pretty fast. You either play by the rules or you die. Unfortunately. It's how we've been able to keep this peace. Well, of course there's been others that have attempted to undermine the masquerade, but they were swiftly dealt with. And why are we called vampire hunters? If we're more of an overall police force. Well, we're called vampire hunters because we're specifically trained to take down vampires. Hunters are human, so a vampire coming after one of us is bad, but more than often than not we attack in groups, and while a vampire is fast, strong, and, well, definitely high in endurance, they can't take on 4 or 5 opponents at once. Maybe they can focus down one, but Being attacked from all sides tends to get you killed. And since our collective is so strong and has so many members, it has led to us dominating most battle situations since vampires prefer to hunt solitary. Excuse me, I just don't prefer talking about the gory details. As much as I'm a hunter, I don't take any pleasure in it. When did I become one? When I was young. Back when Dad was still alive, he brought me into the family business. He didn't want you getting involved in the whole masquerade thing. He thought you were too tender-hearted. Well, I mean, was he wrong? You still cry when a puppy gets hurt. I remember that other one day you stepped on the dog's tail and you just started bawling. Though I suppose you're right. We do need to do something about this whole situation. I have called the major vampire houses House Fortemp, House Dracula, House Fang, and House Pureblood. All four of them have yet to respond. Well, that's not entirely true. House Fang was the first to respond, but their proposal was unagreeable. Oh, right, I guess I haven't explained. Well, those are the four major vampire factions. Each one believes in a different ideology. For example, House Fortemp believes in unity between vampires and humans. They believe in a vision where vampires and humans can live together and coexist, essentially. And that's what they've been working towards since their founding. House Fang believes they are superior than humans and believes they need to be protectors, like a horde of sorts. They kind of see humans as pets, something to protect and love and stuff like that, but don't really see beyond that. Yeah, I find it kind of gross. You can imagine what they had planned for you as a new blood. House Dracula is one of the oldest houses out there. Their belief is more of the isolationists. They believe humans and vampires should be separate and should not interact in any way. They believe coexistence will only breed more problems and vampires will be used as a war resource. Yep. And then there's the Purebloods. I'm not a fan of them by any stretch. The Purebloods are a elitist royal faction. Their founder was a king, elder vampire king, who was disgusted by the other factions and wanted to reunite the vampires under one banner and take the war to humans. However, after a horrific failure, he was forced to split down his factions and forced to just be a single house. Most of his strength ripped from him. However, under the new laws between vampires and humans, he technically hadn't broken any major laws and was allowed to live. And he was able to form his whole new faction. He wants to wipe out humanity. However, all the other factions are not allowed to war with each other. And as vampire hunters, we are not allowed to single out factions and go to war with them. Our job is to protect the masquerade and to attack vampires who step out of the law. As you can imagine, the ones that break the law the most are the purebloods. Occasionally you get one from House Fang, but it's mostly just an impassioned vampire who thought a human was really cute. 90% of the time we can just separate the human, do a little mind wipe, and send the human on their way, while also reprimanding the vampire. Most often just imprisoning them for 50 years or something. What house would I recommend? Well, if you're given the option to choose, honestly, I would choose House 4 Temps for you. I think that'd be the perfect place for you to go. Sure, I'm sure Dracula would love to have you. I mean, they're not a terrible house. They just, well, they're very regal. Think of them as the opposite of the pureblood faction. While they do have a lot of nobles, they also have plenty of commoners. And they're big on respect and etiquette. They'll happily take you in, but I just don't see it as your style. 4 Temps definitely sounds a lot more your style. But I would never make you choose against your will. At the end of the day, it will be your choice between those 4 factions. Fang has reached out and... Oh, excuse me. Hello? Yeah? Mm-hmm. I see. Huh. Alright. Well, seems we've gotten notifications about the other 3 factions. Noble Blood has tentatively agreed to take you. Apparently the one that sired you was the Noble Blood faction, technically making you a Noble Blood vampire. However, the other 3 factions have all each expressed interest in taking you in. Dracula says you could make a great... what do they call you? Knight? I think you'd make a great knight. Protector. Vampire and human alike. Fang thinks you could be a cute pet and loyal guard. And 4 Temps believes you could really help, being one of the first humans turned in a long time. You could help bridge the gap between vampires and humans. Pureblood just seems to want you just for the fact that it's their responsibility more than anything else. But I'll leave the choice to you. Whatever you pick, I'll stand by you. Promise. Regardless of how I personally feel about each of these factions. It's up to you, brother. What will you pick? I'm definitely curious. Hello everybody, it's Proxy. This is a major decision point. There will be 4 options in the description for you to choose. I wonder which house you will choose, and which path you will go on. I am definitely curious.